Welcome everyone to another session of Coffee with Father James. I hope you grab your own cup and follow along with me. Today we've got a lot of things to talk to you about. Now last week I did say that I would give you more specifics on the audio-visual system that we're installing at St. Peter's location. And I say AV system because it's a full package of audio and visual components. So some of you who were in the church building this Saturday, you saw speakers hanging, and it was kind of funny because a couple of people said, "Oh, I can really tell the difference." It just shows you how our perception can be shaped, or it shapes our whole experience, because speakers weren't actually hooked up last week. They're going to be possibly hooked up this coming week, but today we actually had a machine in, and we're raising them up to about the same level as the lights. It's not the optimal level or height for sound quality, because the room is very difficult to do sound properly in, because it's in the round. But the aesthetics are important, and we've got to balance functionality with aesthetics. It's one of the things we value specifically in our Catholic tradition and building. So, respecting the sense of the space. So speakers are going to be a bit higher. With those speakers come a 16-channel mixer. The original sound system that we were replacing is from 1969 and didn't have any mixing capacity. So you can plug in 16 different channels and microphones, instruments, and it's going to feed into a sound mixer, which will have a physical sound mixer in the booth, but also there'll be an iPad with pre-programmed settings for different groups, different choirs, different musical ensembles, and can be controlled from anywhere. So it's going to be really great. That's the audio component. This week we're going to be installing 3 large LCD screens. As you walk into the church through the central door, one screen is going to be immediately above. And if you think about it, as you're looking at the presider's chair, one screen will be, if the presider's chair is 12 o'clock, one will be at 3 o'clock and one at 9 o'clock. And, those screens are going to be very, very helpful. They might seem strange at first when you come in, but, having experienced this in other churches, a couple of weeks you won't even notice they're there, especially if we use them properly, which means using them tastefully with the right kind of background and a color that blends in. But we're going to be able to put the words of the hymns up. Like, we can't use hymn books during COVID. It's strange. We've got music again, but you can't sing because we don't necessarily know all the words. The other advantage it gives us is being able to put the prayers, the words of the prayers for Mass. Those of us who've been going to Mass our whole lives, it's like, well, why would you need that? Because some people haven't been going to Mass their whole lives. And we want to be a church that's welcoming. I mean, it's very unwelcoming to arrive, maybe have no background, and everyone's saying a bunch of prayers and no one's helping you to know what it is that's been said. So I think that can be very, very helpful. Also, it gives us the capacity to use some visual components during homilies, and that's something I've personally been doing for years. Really, for the last 12 years, I've been doing that in various parishes, and so I look forward to doing it. And especially for younger people, we're not just audio learners anymore; we're audio-visual learners. The final piece of the puzzle are going to be 3 robotic cameras. They're going to be mounted onto the walls. They're remote controlled. And each of these cameras, for instance, can have like up to 12 preset focal positions. It means they snap to a particular focus and particular point. And you just, by pressing different buttons, you can cycle through these and create a kind of live stream experience that feels quite dynamic. We're going to have the capacity to live stream in high definition video as well. Where is all this going to be recorded from? The final thing, if you were here on the weekend, you saw that we did some work on one of the old confessionals, which had been used in recent years as a broom closet. We still have 3 other confessionals, or 2 other confessionals and one other broom closet. But we've knocked a hole in the back wall, and we're going to put a wall in there to create more space. And we're going to be able to we've wired all the wires feed into it for power and everything else. And we're going to basically have a tech booth back there for video mixing and the sound mixing and this control for the slides. So it's going to be in a secure area. The goal is when all this is finished, you think it was always there in the church. That's the goal. And the good news, as I mentioned last week, is that I was able to secure donations from outside sources and from certain people in the parish, special donations to get this project completely covered. So we're not dipping into our savings for this project, and we're not spending anything that was, from the budget. And, besides the fact that in our COVID reality, we need this kind of technology, especially getting ready for Christmas, especially if there's another lockdown. But to be honest, a church shouldn't have a 50-year-old sound system. A church should have the capacity to have more than one microphone or one voice. It should have a sound mixer. We should have the latest in technology. And so I'm really excited to see what's going to happen in the coming weeks. We're going to need lots of help to run this technology. We're going to need volunteers to help us as well, but we're excited about that. Other thing is the wall repair on Maple Street. I told you a few weeks ago that we had amazing news in that the short-term fix that we proposed for the problem with the wall and the trees that were falling down was accepted by the city just 2 weeks ago, not simply as a short-term solution, but as a long-term solution. So the trees did come down last month. The sections of the wall that are bulging out are being dismantled and repaired this week, and the whole thing is going to be less than $30,000, a far cry from the low ball estimate of over $300,000 that we had back in August, which is incredible. The new foundation series continues on. We're more than halfway through this. We finished the 4th session this week, which was called, Changing Our Minds. It was about making a decision, making a commitment, getting clarity on what is this great journey that we're being called to go on, to follow where the Lord is leading us. And it was a remarkable meeting. The good news is we've been recording these sessions, and in the next couple of days, the first 3 of these new foundation sessions will be available on our YouTube channel. So if you haven't been able to join us, do check those out. Please know that even now it's not too late to get on board and to join us for the remaining 3 sessions. This coming weekend, the annual Archdiocesan Assembly is taking place. I really encourage you to register online. It's an online event through Zoom. Great chance to hear Archbishop Mancini speak and share with us before he steps down as Archbishop, to hear talks by Archbishop Dunn and others, and just to be reminded that, this whole challenge of restructuring we're going through, it's not just us, the whole diocese is feeling the pain, and we're in this together. So it would be great to have you join us for that. Finally, or almost finally, we handed out this past weekend a booklet featuring meditations on the Rosary, meditations that I wrote back in August during my first weeks here as pastor. And it's got nice pictures and all of this, but we're really calling on parishioners to take a copy of this, take it home, and to use it, to actually pray the Rosary for the renewal of our parish. So I just wanted to point that out to you, that if you haven't had a chance to pick one of these up, they will be available. And finally, over the last couple of weeks at different events, I've been playing very beautiful meditative music before Mass or during our new foundation series. And many people have asked me, where is that music from? So I'm going to tell you, it's from an album, not an album, but I guess they call them albums, by an artist called Dan Gibson. And the series is called Solitudes. And this particular one is called Illumination, and it's Gregorian chants. Well, Gregorian chants accompanied by bird noises and sounds of rivers and stuff. It's actually quite beautiful. When I play it in my car, it helps me to to drive in a peaceful fashion, which is always a good thing. So speaking of peace, I hope and pray that you know peace in your life in spite of the turmoil of recent weeks, recent months. Thank you for your ongoing support, your encouragement, your patience in all of this. We're slowly getting there. We're seeing light at the end of the tunnel. Keep praying. God bless you all.